All right, good evening and welcome to the Hanson Select Board meeting of Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. This meeting is being recorded by Whitman Hanson Community Access Television. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. All right. You know the drill, Mr. Heel. I'm going to turn it over to you for public announcements and upcoming meetings.
Very good, thank you. We are looking for citizens at large to become members of the following committees. The Bylaw Committee, which is a 3-year term, there are 3 openings available out of 5. The Cable and Internet Committee is also a 3-year term with 3 openings available out of 5. The Capital Improvement Committee is a 3-year term with 1 opening available out of 5. The Energy Committee is an annual term with 2 openings available out of 5. The Historical Commission is a 3-year term with 2 openings available out of 5. And the Memorial Day and Patriotic Observance Committee is an annual term with 3 openings available out of 5. Volunteer applications may be found at the town website, www.hanson-mass.gov, or by calling the Select Board's office at 781-293-2131. A reminder from the town clerk. Copies of virtual record fees have increased to $10 for certified copy of birth, marriage, and death certificates. As discussed in January 13, 2026 Select Board meeting, a reminder that notary services for public use will no longer be available. A reminder from the Treasurer Collector Office. All Town of Hanson residents' 3rd quarter fiscal year 2026 real estate and personal property taxes are due on Monday, February 2nd. You can send a check by mail or drop the Dropbox at the Town Hall or online at www.hanson-mass.gov. And the upcoming Select Board meetings are February 10th, 2026, February 24th, 2026, and March 10th, 2026. Also, the Whitman Hanson Regional School Committee is seeking input from the community as we begin our search for an interim superintendent. To that end, we'll be hosting 2 community forums for parents, students, and other community members to elicit feedback about their vision for our district superintendent. These forums will be facilitated by a representative from MASC, the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, who is helping us with our search process, as well as WHRSD committee members. The first forum will be held in the Louise A. Connolly Elementary School cafeteria, 100 Forest Street, Whitman, on Thursday, January 29th at 6:30 p.m. The second will be held in the Hanson Middle School Auditorium, 100 Liberty Street in Hanson, on Monday, February 2nd at 6:30 p.m. All interested community members are invited to attend either forum. Anyone who is unavailable to attend in person can still share their feedback by emailing the committee at schoolcommittee, all one word, at whrsd.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. That's very helpful information. Also, just a reminder that the town is going to, well, has gone to Smart 911. So if you want to receive a reverse 911 call about emergency matters such as water main breaks, road closures, and again, this isn't used, it isn't used generously, it's very judiciously used. You need to register. There's information on Facebook. The police put it on their Facebook page, and Fire also put it on theirs, and the town also put it on theirs. There's an app, Smart 911. It is, I wish I could say it was intuitive to sign up, but it was a little tricky to sign up, so persevere, because it is important. You don't want to be left in the cold. Okay, so with that, we are on to new business. Discuss,
Can I just say
Yes,
one thing
please.
about that?
Yeah.
I found it easier to create my account online and do what they, whatever you wanna fill in online, and get the app.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then it's loaded.
Yeah.
It's easier to see on a website than it is on a phone. That's my
that
input.
may have been the issue I was having.
That's my
but
input.
that's good insight. Okay, and did you already sign up, Mr. Hill?
I did.
All right,
Thank
good, you get brownie points. All right, discuss and vote WCHA, WHCH?
Community
Yeah,
Hanson.
we've got our acronym, Access Agreement Renewal. Eric Dresser. Mr. Dresser, did you want to take the Inquisition chair?
Sure, yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to provide in terms of an update on it. I came back in late October, I think it was the 27th or 28th, and spoke to you kind of about the state of things with community media and WHCA. We did that right around the same time as we were talking about Community Media Day, kind of get that national look. But basically, the idea is that the access agreement, well, I started with WHCA at the beginning of 2017, and somewhere during that year, we installed the access agreement that we've lived under and worked under for the next 6 years, 5-6 years. And it expired. It was set to expire about the same time as the cable licenses, and you recall that the cable licenses renewed, I want to say July of last summer.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to flood the zone and kind of try to do all of that at once, so we let the licenses go through. We just kept operating under the same protocols and expectations that are in the existing, though expired, access agreement. And so now comes the time for us to update that, renew that agreement, and really to modernize it, because obviously a lot has changed. What the heck is a hybrid meeting? You know,
Yeah,
lots of things like that, lots of new technology. And then areas that perhaps weren't anticipated that, well, again, things like COVID and like that really kind of showed us. And even the degree of attrition and cord cutting that we've seen. So this isn't really anything that outlines the way that our funding works or anything like that. That's all done through the cable license, which you guys have already done. But this does kind of do a better job of talking about sort of the rules of the road, you know, what to expect from WHCA, timelines, deliverables, insurance we should carry, et cetera. So yeah, that's really the goal, is to open that conversation, to do so in tandem with, in parallel with Whitman, so that we don't end up with two different agreements. So I've already had a conversation with Mary Beth Carter over at Whitman Town Hall, and with Lisa as well, and I would think that the next foreseeable step would be to get the three of us together and put down a draft V1. I did kind of take the liberty of making some of those edits and suggestions, but I did so in working with an attorney other than Bill Solomon, who is the town's cable counsel. That way, you guys can still work with him.
There's
and
no conflict,
yeah, exactly. So we kept that all separate. So it should be really clean and just sort of formalize all of the existing practices and protocols that we've kind of arrived upon, just kind of into a black and white format.
All right, so it's just to make sure we've still got a contract, a little bit of housekeeping.
Yep.
And just keep chugging along.
In terms of any other updates, we just actually had the annual meeting today of Mass Access, which is the trade and advocacy organization for the state of Massachusetts for places like WHCA. It was a really great meeting. It did have to get moved to Zoom because of all the snow, which was actually great, because as much as it was gonna be in the Hall of Flags up at the State House.
Oh, wow.
And so we were really trying to bring in all the legislators, because the biggest thing that we're trying to work on is modernizing the funding. We are wholly funded right now by, as we talked about back in October, by cable subscribers. And we're really trying to work on, again, modernizing that, because that's not the only way that people are now accessing their content. They're getting entertainment through Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, a number of other places. And so we're just trying to update that, not we, but the state, in fact, most of the country in their own little silos, each state is trying to kind of update all that. So we got some wonderful updates. We have some local reps, not our existing or exact reps in this area. They're supporting of it, but our lead champion on this update to the legislation is Joan Moschino out of Hull. So she's close by. She used to be my rep when I was at the Hingham Station prior to 2017. So we have a great relationship there. And we're hopeful that that will help and take some of the pressure off. But nevertheless, the access agreements will help us to work with the existing pot that we've got. If that should become a little bit less strenuous because we can modernize that funding mechanisms and things like that, well, that can only help. And I did just do a little blog post about that on our website. So if anybody wants to read more about what's happening with that, you can click on the Happenings tab on WHCA.tv.
Okay, that sounds great. And of course, you know, you've always been a vital part of the information flow, but never more since we don't have our own little Whitman Hanson Express. So now the sources of information of real time, first hand information, are dwindling. We value you.
Yeah, and the nice thing, all community media is we're gavel to gavel. You know, we're not coming in looking to excerpt, or if it bleeds, it leads. Like, we're just looking to have a wide tapestry of coverage of everything in full.
Can I say that I love the way things are arranged now on, with
Yeah.
all the different channels, and it comes up right on my, I've subscribed to all of them.
Yeah.
It all comes up, it's
It was
there.
getting confusing
Yeah,
before.
It's
no,
way
it's
more
great now,
intuitive.
Yeah,
way
so
better.
we
Yeah.
still consider our old initial, YouTube channel as our flagship
Right.
channel. In fact, I just, tweaked some language in a Facebook post today to word it that way. Because it is a little confusing sometimes to say, watch us on our educational YouTube feed. So, but if you do go, if anybody hasn't intuitively figured it out as you did, you can just hit the more info on that, YouTube channel.
Yes.
And you can find the other channels from there. And we suggest that people subscribe to them. We saw a wonderful, number of new subscribers, as you might have expected in November,
I'm
especially on
sure
the
you did,
educational
because
channel.
it's easier to find.
And there was a lot. We were out like, multiple weeks in a row, sometimes multiple times per week, covering, school committee
Yes.
or other ancillary related,
Have you
committees.
thought about, maybe you already have this, but have you done a PSA on how to use your channels or what's on the channels?
Yeah, to some degree, and we're gonna be doing some more work to try and make that a little bit simpler even still. We actually may be launching an app that might help with some of that, but
An
also
app?
help us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it's also, and we talked a little bit about this back in October, is we have to look at meeting people where they are in terms of how they're viewing, and not giving all of our loaves of bread away for free, if I can use my grocery store analogy. At a certain point, we put every single video online with no monetization, it only further undermines our ability to continue to exist. So we're hopeful for things like that state legislation, where that becomes a non-issue, but if not, we are looking at methods to make sure that we can continue to operate in a sustainable way.
That's great. Well, thank you for the update. And, Ms. Green, anything you wanted to chime in on with that, or?
I mean, the only thing I wanted to point out on the agreement that you have, on the top, it's signed December 19th of 2017, but then in the body, it references the November 14.
To the 29th.
November 30th, 2014 to November 29th, 2024. So the signature at the top, carries it on until November 30 of 2027.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, so just, because it's a 10-year term, I just wanted to point out
all right, yeah.
that the dates for the old contract are still in the body, but the signature at the top would kind of start the clock ticking again, so
Okay.
just wanted to bring that
So we don't have a gun
forward.
to our head.
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly, yes, there's some time that we can
It's
sit
gonna,
and make sure we cover
you know,
everything.
these things do take
Oh,
time. They
yeah.
move at a
Yeah.
glacial
Yeah.
pace, so it's probably good that you're starting it now and.
Yes.
And that's some good modernization, like I say, that could be updated there. We've concurrently kind of gotten on a similar path, like, we don't, so the funding that you guys negotiated through the cable licenses, is for WHCA's, use in doing our mission. But so we have an agreement like that with you here in Hanson, we have one like that with Whitman, and there's always been this kind of like, how do the schools plug in? And it's like very much by proxy, if you read through the way the agreement is written. So we've even been starting a conversation with the schools about having a bit more of a documented process for all of that, so that there's less ambiguity and assumptions,
Yep.
and things are more in black and white. And so that's kind of part of this as well, is where we've really come to realize, like, when I started in 2017, if you told me it should be XYZ, I said, okay, XYZ. Now I've been there for getting nearly 10 years, and
Wow.
we got a much better read on how things operate, and we really are kind of like the tripods that we use, where we've got those 3 legs, and one of them is kind of like a kickstand, and the
Yeah.
other 2 are these big sturdy legs. So we're trying to have all that a lot more clear, so the expectations in both directions are clear with all 3 of our biggest partners.
All right, that's great. Well, thanks for the update, and we look forward to getting closure on the new agreement and hearing back from you guys. Any questions, or?
No, that's
All right,
great.
great. Thanks a lot, Eric. Good to see you.
You as well.
All right, and with us now is our town clerk. We can't say new town clerk, because, you got a little age on you now. You've been doing it for a minute or two. We wanted to discuss and vote the early, voting. So did you want to, just lay that up for us?
Sure, so just looking back, I guess it's been previously offered to our town folks that we offer, some alternate days to come in and get your votes in for people who can't make the scheduled town election. So I was just hoping that you guys would approve the, days and times that are listed on the form, and we can just open that up to our residents here.
Shall I make the motion?
Yes, please, did you have the little motion right there? Okay, great.
I make a motion to hold in-person early voting for the May 16th annual town elections to be held at the Hanson Town Clerk's office for 3 days as follows. Monday, May 11th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday, May 12th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Wednesday, May 13th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
I'll second that.
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much. Good to see you.
You too.
Keep the cards and letters coming. It's always good to hear from you. All right, and then next we have vote the termination of the Veteran Services Officer. As you will recall, and last we met in executive session, we had a very difficult decision, but a decision that we all voted to make nevertheless, which was to terminate our Veteran Service Officer. And protocol is in the next open meeting that is held following the executive session, that you need to vote on that as well. So I will entertain a motion to terminate the Veteran Service Officer. What was the effective date? We did have a,
January 20th of 2026.
okay, effective January 20th of 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great.
How is that recorded? Because more people were here then.
Well, that's true. In executive session, there were 5 of us, but it doesn't need to be
Right.
5, it just needs to
So it's
happen
fine that it's
again,
got the
and,
3.
yeah, it doesn't matter how many, as long as it passes again.
Okay.
I've never, I have contemplated, and I am not calling the universe in and ever hoping that this happens, but I've often wondered what would happen if you voted one way in executive session, and then in open session, somebody suddenly got amnesia and voted a completely different way and threw the whole vote up in
Like
arms.
if one of us
but-
did that today, it could have done that.
We'll leave that to you to research and see what the technical resolution of that would be, but I have thought that, because sometimes people can be different in executive session. All right, so that brings us to discuss creating Veteran Service Officer District with Hanover and discuss the Veterans Benefit Administrator position. Ms. Green.
Okay. So under Massachusetts law, every municipality must have a veteran service officer of in some capacity. The town of Hanson, actually, the select board 2 years ago voted to make the position a full-time position, a 32-hour-a-week position, based on some new requirements under the VA, the PACT Act, as recommended by our former Veteran Service Officer, Tim White, so there was a vote to increase. The town went out and we brought on Veteran Service Officer, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. So we moved forward and brought on a second Veteran Service Officer, and unfortunately, it has not worked out. The town of Hanover did approach us, actually a few years back, about creating a district, but at that point, town of Hanson thought it would be best to serve our veterans with our own officer, but we've seen how that has gone. They did approach us, they are still very interested in creating a district with the town of Hanson. They have a veteran service officer on hand, as an employee. His name's Terrence O'Keefe. The board appointed him as our interim, veteran service officer at our last meeting. And after speaking with many folks out there, he comes with very high recommendations, high work ethic, very good at his job. He's very motivated, very dedicated. Now, creating a district would solve 2 issues for 2 towns that have a low population but are required to have a VSO on staff. And also what it would do is it's going to increase the services for our veterans who would be able to either meet with our officer here in Hanson or in Hanover. There's a lot of flexibility with that. I do have a draft agreement. I do need to finish reviewing it. Hanover would basically retain Mr. O'Keefe as an employee under Hanover with benefits and salary. The town would pay Hanover a percentage of that salary. Hanover would invoice us, so we would pay the bill. So we would not take on any, benefits or things like that. Also, what was, talked about, which I'm bringing to the board, is, bringing a position on, in our bylaw, we have a position under a assistant veterans agent. There are, towns around us who employ such a person.
We did for a lot of years, we had 2 people.
Yes, and
Yeah.
so this position would be brought on to support the Veterans Service Officer. But what we would do is we would change the title of that position to Veterans Benefit Administrator. And that person would, take on filing all the paperwork filing with the state, with the VA, and just kind of manage that paperwork part of it, as well as taking phone calls, scheduling appointments, assisting with, Memorial Day and Veterans Day, events and activities. So, at a 19.5-hour-week position as governed by our bylaw, and then, looking at paying a percentage of the salary, we could have those 2 folks on board underneath a budget alone for the current veterans agent salary. So we could get kind of 2 for the price of 1, save a little bit of money, and get superior services for our veterans. I'm very excited about this. Mr. O'Keefe was not able to make it tonight, he had a prior commitment, but he will be at our next meeting to introduce himself, talk about his ideas, his thoughts. He's already done some amazing things. Our town clerk's office has not fielded 1 phone call from a veteran to say they haven't heard from anybody, no one's gotten back to them, things like that.
And he very kindly stepped in while we were in a bit of a pickle.
Yes, he did.
There, so we've had some experience with him in the position on a very temporary basis, but nevertheless, some experience.
Yes, he has reached out to the, I believe the Kingston Veteran Service Officer, who created a district between Kingston and Duxbury. So it's becoming more common. And she is going to assist us with giving us information that is needed to create the district. So she will provide us guidance with getting a district created. Again, the Hanover Town Manager, is very excited about this. I'm excited about this.
Has he brought it to their select board yet?
I'm not sure yet. I'm sure he has.
Because there is that little detail.
Yes,
okay.
you know, we're gonna confirm everything. I wanted to talk to the board to see where your appetite was. And then I can connect with him, see if he's talked with his board. I'm not sure of their meeting schedule, but at least provide either good news, not so good news, great news, you know, some more information needed news to him so that we can work through these details.
I can reach out to Rhonda anyway and ask her, but, I'll text her tonight and just see if they've talked about it, but, I'm wondering a couple of things. I love it, I think this is innovative, I think it's amazing, kudos. I worry a little bit about divided loyalties, which we've found at times when we've had other shared positions. And it isn't speaking ill of anybody, it's just you're only one person, you can only be in one place at a time. So for instance, Veterans Day and Memorial Day, how would that work?
So we have talked, a lot about those 2, you know, particular days and things like that. And obviously, one person can't be in 2 places at once. So there would be, okay, this year I'll be here, next year I'll be here. But there's also, he's been in touch with the Patriotic Observance Committee, for assistance. That the part-time position can also assist with that. He also said that he could maybe fluctuate the times a little bit.
Yeah.
So have it earlier in one town so he could be
That's a good
there
idea.
and then get to the other town for the afternoon. So again, there's a lot of energy, a lot of motivation, and, you know, wants to put on wonderful events for both of those.
I think we'd even entertain dual town, you know,
That was
events as
also
well.
something that was brought
You know, I
up.
wouldn't want that exclusively, but I mean, you know,
Yes.
you know.
A lot of moving pieces, you know, a lot of details that we will still work out, but this right here would be a big step to at least getting somebody, in the office regularly, you know, both to get at least our veterans,
And I know the
services.
VSO has to be a veteran, but I assume the administrative person does not.
It
It
does
actually,
not-
it
there's-
actually says that it's a unique position, it's preferred that they be honorably discharged veterans.
It's preferred, but it's not required.
It's not required.
but
I do
it-
find it interesting that they want accounting and bookkeeping, or equivalent combination of education and experience.
Well, that's because of the, like, with the chapter 15.
Putting in the paperwork.
You know, putting that
Paperwork, right,
information,
yeah.
recertifying, things like that, and sometimes they, get involved with, the checks that need to be issued and sent out to the veteran, so it's a good experience and qualification to have, again, not required,
Yeah.
but it's good to have. And like I said, with adding on this position as, under our bylaw, wage and personnel position, it's a win-win, because the position's already there, although it is listed as the assistant veterans agent, where we do have it in the warrant, as you'll see, to change the
To change
title. And the salary is updated just a little bit. And so it's not, we're not creating a new position, it's already there, we're just giving it a new title.
And that would be very predictable hours that somebody,
Yes, there will have to be set hours, so, you know, veterans know when someone's in the office. But again, they would only be able to make an appointment and then help with some paperwork, but not actually provide the guidance and things.
right.
But they, you know, would get in touch with veteran service officer to come and take care of that.
And is Terrence, you know, in agreement with this, way that we're planning on positioning it here in Hanson?
110%.
Okay,
110%, yes.
okay. Did anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to hear this. It's,
Yeah.
the thing I'm hearing that it sounds like it's gonna provide much
Better.
more service
Yeah.
than we've been providing, and also saving money at the same time. And that's unbelievable. Thank you very much for doing that. And I like also having a district with another town, not, you know, just partnering with other towns
Yeah,
around
yeah.
us, not just Whitman. I like, you know, doing
Scales of
different towns
economy.
as needed. And
Yeah.
one thing I'm wondering about, and it's probably minor, is we're at some point gonna have both of them in the office in the town hall at the same time. Is there room for them?
It's a very practical question, Mr. Hill.
Well, we had talked, you know, that we had discussions with the senior center about having a spot over at the senior center. And again, there can be flexibility, with the part-time position and, the full-time position. I mean, they can always meet someone over in Hanover, he can meet them at their home, you know, wherever there's a comfort, there's flexibility there. I don't think we'd have an issue with having two in the office at the same time, because obviously there's only one desk and things like that.
Right.
But we do have other options available for the two of them. And then Hanover's right across the border, and vice versa, and that's the beauty of having this district, is that they've got the resources of both towns that they can bounce back and forth with.
Yeah,
And
maybe even better.
how would we work with Hanover? I mean, obviously, I'm optimistic that this will be a very successful experiment, but what if it isn't? And how would we, disentangle ourselves? And who would be giving feedback? Like, ultimately, who is this person reporting to?
Well, they would be reporting to both of us, because Hanover is gonna retain the, veteran service officer as their employee with benefits. But they would still be accountable here as being part of our veteran services, officer.
So would you envision if you
so-
had praise, or perhaps something else, that needed to be shared, that you would coordinate with,
Yes, with Hanover, exactly, yes. If there's any type of issues like that, Hanover, we would have to coordinate with Hanover, and then, you know, work through, as far as the district, you know, again, that's a work in progress, but maybe we put in what happens if something happens with the VSO or anything like that.
I'd honestly really like to see baked into this a scheduled performance review completed together with Hanover. If you're gonna do it as a district, you need to review together whether this is working for us. You know, and it might be, you know, we may get feedback like, hey, we feel like you're not putting in the same number of hours with us that you're putting in for Hanover. I know I'm being a Debbie Downer, but I'm intentionally trying to poke holes so that we make sure that this agreement is bulletproof. And I wanna make sure that we set ourselves up for success by talking in advance about what could go wrong and how we will handle it.
Okay.
I'm extremely
Things we could be
hopeful that
working on.
we
Yep.
will not have anything go astray. Because our veterans deserve better. And this sounds like the best thing that we've really had to offer them for quite a few years. So I hope that Mr. O'Keefe realizes the responsibility that we're putting on his shoulders and what we're expecting from him.
He does 100%, because he has been right up there on the front line of what happens when, you have someone in place who is not providing the service.
Yeah.
So he has stepped up to help us with that. And we'll get the correct language. I mean, once we look through it, we'll have town council look through it. It'll be presented to the board, in advance to review and, again, provide feedback and suggestions, and if you have questions, we'll get that, but we'll make sure we get it right, the first time, and so that we can move forward with this. But we'll wait until we have everybody is satisfied, and that's Hanson Select Board, Hanover Select Board. So Joe Colangelo, my Hanover manager, and myself will work to make sure that the agreement is well-positioned for both towns and sets up both towns for success for services to our
Well, I
veterans.
appreciate, Ms. Green, that it's in moments like this when you shine, when you come up with a unique idea that we have not done before, that's cost savings, but a benefit to the citizens, and so kudos, and we look forward to hearing back from you. Do you need a vote from us just to pursue this with the town of Hanover?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to have our town administrator pursue a veteran service officer district with the town of Hanover and begin discussions on how that will work.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, great, thank you so much for bringing that to us. Did you?
And second
yes.
part, on the.
Oh, the
Veterans
benefits
Benefit
administrator.
Administrator, yes.
And I will entertain a motion to place the creation of the Veterans Benefit Administrator position in the town meeting warrant.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great.
We might need to redo that because the position's already
Yeah,
created.
I was gonna
We
say,
just need to
we're
change
renaming
the
it.
title.
That's all you want?
Just
Okay.
need to change the title, so.
Well, give me what it is, it's called the Assistant Veteran Service.
It's called the Veterans,
No, I've got the new one.
Benefits
What is it
Administrator.
being changed from?
Oh, Assistant Veterans
All right,
Agent.
that's what I thought, okay. Okay, we're entertaining many motions on this.
Yes,
I
we
will
are.
entertain a motion to change the Assistant Veteran Services Officer position to the Veterans Benefit Administrator position. I mean, that is pending town, meeting
Pending town
approval.
meeting, yes, approval.
Yes, so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any other motions, Ms. Green?
That'll do it. For that
Okay,
one.
we'll beat that horse to death, okay. In our executive session, we also had a discussion, very brief discussion, for our IT director. Ms. Green, did you want to lay that up for us?
Yes, so our IT director, does a lot of traveling, around town throughout the day. And he carries a lot of equipment around with him. The police chief has offered, to allow the IT director to use a vehicle, that is no longer used on a regular basis. It is not a police vehicle, it is a, like a type, undercover vehicle that is no longer in service. But this will allow the IT director to travel around to all the different buildings throughout the day. He can use it to carry equipment to and from. He can also use this to and from home. He lives in Hanover, so not very far. Will not be able to use this for personal use or to take on, you know, a road trip to Cape or anything like that. He would be able to use it to travel to IT-related meetings, conferences, workshops, training. But we have an agreement that outlines the perimeters around how he can use it, but at least this will assist him as he travels from building to building throughout the day.
Okay, again, we had voted on this in executive session, but I will entertain a motion to approve the amendment to the contract with Matt Tocchio, our IT director, with an effective date of January 13th, 2026, to include the use of a town-owned vehicle.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. All right, amazing.
Is this
And
a
then,
copy or is this an original?
That's a copy.
It's
Is it a color copy? 'Cause
It's a
got-
very, very good
I
looking
know.
copy.
I'm like,
It's good. I know, I thought, did I just sign that and I don't?
I know, me
sign it?
too. That's
Okay.
exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, well done, Brenda. And then we have vote to accept donation to the fire department by Stonebridge residents. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Very generous, and those folks
Oh, yeah.
constantly giving
Look at what they,
back to the town.
yeah, the cards
Yeah,
that they.
Very, very generous.
Very generous.
They also give generously to, the food pantry. They're just wonderful.
Oh, there's a mystery Amazon card.
And then, this was just a, gentle, maybe not so gentle, reminder that the feedback for the town administrator review, is due by February 5th. So, tick, tick,
Did we
tick.
receive
quick,
that
so-
in our email?
Yes, Amy sent,
I looked for it, and I
blank.
couldn't find it.
Brenda, do you mind asking Amy to resend,
Yeah, would you, because I looked at my email and
Yeah.
I did not see it.
Yep,
I'm glad, because I was thinking it was today, and I'm very happy it's not.
well, I probably shouldn't have taken my foot off the gas then on that. I should have left you with that impression, but, no, so in all honesty, it's important. Ms. Green works hard all year long. The only way she can improve is if we give her feedback, and the only way she knows what we appreciate is if we give her feedback. And plus, it's part of our statute that we should be doing that, so, for a variety of reasons, it's the right thing to do. Okay, so, discuss and review May town meeting warrant articles. Ms. Green?
Okay. We do have a draft annual town meeting warrant, which, you all have in your packet. We currently, as the first draft, stands, it has 35 articles. Of course, there will be a lot of tweaking and a lot of movement.
This is just a stake in the
It's
ground.
just, like,
Yeah.
this is just the very first, go-around draft. But we know we've got the 35 articles. The deadline for departments to submit their articles was up January 9th. Okay, so unless an emergency with like last-minute type of information that has come up that requires us to add an article, no other articles should be added to this. It does include every, articles for capital.
Yep.
It includes our wage and personnel bylaw. Do you want me to go through each article individually,
No, I
or?
don't, did you guys have an opportunity to read through that?
I have not yet,
Okay,
but I
then-
plan
Then you know
to.
what, Ms. Green, I think, let everybody have a little bit of time to metabolize before our next
Okay.
meeting. I did read through it, but, I think, there were a couple of things that I kind of was questioning, but I think, you know, we've got ample time, and I thank you for that, that we have ample time and that we're getting it so early in the process to look at. Isn't that delightful? But one of the things that caught me a little bit off guard was the nearly $400,000 for high school paving. I assume that that was something that the district came to us with and requested, and I can appreciate that. Are we talking about the paving being in dire straits here? Because in a year, such as the year we're about to have, $400,000 is a lot of money.
Correct.
And I just, was this a recent thing that we received from them, or is this something that was sort of lingering and we're
No, it was submitted to us by the deadline.
Okay.
They did not submit any capital, for our October special town meeting, so they did submit it now. And again, this is for the board to vet and things like that. What I did was we took all the articles that were submitted, and they're included in here. And the board can review and remove, keep as they see fit. But it's all in here, so no one could say, you didn't even put it before the board, so.
No,
Everything's
yeah,
before the board
understood.
for consideration.
So I think, let's plan on, doing a deep dive, semi-deep dive, I guess, at the next meeting. And I certainly would want, Mr. Kinshirf, our town accountant, to weigh in with his thoughts as to the priorities. And because, you know, we can't be everything to everybody.
Correct.
We simply don't have the money to do that. So it's always a matter of prioritization. We just have to go through and decide, you know, who benefits, you know, what articles benefit the largest majority of the people in town. What articles must we fund because we're statutorily required to. And then we've got to kind of figure out, do we have any money left after that?
Right.
And in a year, following the, deficit that the district has had, one might anticipate, that, they're not going to want to be down 25 teachers that they laid off, in perpetuity, and that money needs to come from someplace. So we're gonna really have to talk about that.
Were they teachers or were they those?
It was,
also
well, it was a combo, yeah, it
paraprofessionals?
was everybody, yeah, it was 20, that's true. But it was 25 people, which, you know, that's gonna have an impact. And I'm sure that the district is gonna want to get at least some of those positions back. And, when we talk about, even if they were inclined to say we will have a level funded budget, but would like to get a couple more people back, they're gonna have increases in insurance and, you know, utilities, they're gonna have contractual obligations with the teachers, so even level funded is gonna be an increase, so, and we know that we're already looking at a deficit, you know, as a town, so, I think we've, you know, a lot of times these riddles don't get solved by one, huge, you know, thing, it's a bunch of little, pieces, little, you know, you take this down a little bit, take that down a little bit, and then you're surprised at the end of the day how much it all adds up to. So I think, you know, at the risk of being boring, because we say it every year, we have to do more with less. And we do say that every year. And that's okay, I don't mind, like, our job is to stretch, and I don't mind stretching, but boy, some years I feel like Gumby. You know, and this might be the year.
Or
you know.
Elastigirl from The Incredibles.
Yeah, exactly.
If I may, I know prior years, the articles have all kind of been scattered about. So if I may, I just wanna bring to your attention how I formulated the warrant this year.
I love the idea that you even formulated it, because I will say, some years it does seem a bit haphazard.
So it's scattered,
So,
scattered.
please, tell us what your
And
thought
our town
process is.
accountant is here with any questions.
Yep.
So you'll notice, that up to the first 10 articles, up to the first 10 articles are basically operational type of articles that have to involve with appropriating money for salaries our budget, our wage and personnel bylaws. You'll notice that we then go into our capital, article, we then go into our revolving fund, we then have our enterprise funds for Kent Kawani in the water department. So that covers, basically, the first 10 articles cover the operational money. You'll see then, after that, the articles, are by department, so we have our assessors, then we have our IT, our IT, then we have our fire, we then have police, we then have water, we then have community preservation, and any articles that go to community preservation. We also had select board, which should have been the front, I don't know where they went, but they were there, but we'll find them. Then we have articles that involved, highway, which includes the highway building, then, some of the select board follow. And those are in here because they're proposed by not just one board, but, one or two. So they kind of fall into where that article is centered. So there's a couple of highways in here that are proposed by the select board in the highway building committee, so you'll see that. And then we have, then we have our planning board, and then we have our library, and then planning board with bylaw changes, towards the end, and then we have a regional agreement, amendment by the, social vocational high school. So it's a little bit more, organized, where we have the operational ones up front, and then it falls by, department at the end. And of course, there may be some changes here and there as we look at these articles.
I like that a lot.
But I tried to tried to put it in a formula that would be a little bit more organized, than it has been in the previous years.
You know what, maybe I'm missing it here, didn't we need an article for the library for the,
There is one.
no, for the acreage, for the land, allocation of the land?
It's very possible. I think that was supposed to be right after the question on the building.
That's why I was, because I figured it would be in that area.
It should, oh, okay, nope, should be there, right, it should be there right after Article 32.
Just because I know if that
31
doesn't
actually.
pass, they still wanted to have that land
Yeah, so
set aside.
it should be in there right after Article 31.
So it'll be in with the library area,
Yeah.
so
It
we'll
will
be
be in with the
discussing
library,
Yeah.
yeah, so that will bring us to 36 articles. See, but that's why we're gonna have the departments and everybody take a look to make sure
Yes.
that something, but you pointed out that that one was missed, so we'll get it in there. And, it's a collaborative effort between everybody, but fortunately, we've got time to get this just about as perfect as it can be.
And when are we lowering the BOM on you must have the dollar amount to us, or we are not going to discuss this? Because frankly, in the abstract, just discussing these articles is not particularly helpful to us. We've got a budget to balance.
Yeah, exactly,
So,
exactly.
if you're just like, oh, we don't know, we're not gonna know until the week before, well, then the people that got their articles in and actually knew the dollar amounts are probably gonna get preference.
So I know that so the sprinkler heads, like Article 15, we are working on getting quotes on that. Unfortunately, sometimes vendors are being a little bit slow with getting us that information. So we are waiting for it, and there's some that are also waiting on sources, so, we will get these in, hopefully by February 10th. We
Okay.
can get this in there.
Can we make
But
that
we're kind of at the,
Huh?
Did you say February what?
February
February
10th is our next meeting, so
Yeah.
hopefully
Can we make
we'll
that
have
the-
all this in here.
The date?
Yeah, Mr. Hill's getting a little spicy over here. He wants to make that the actual, say that that's the date. That everybody needs to have it in by February 10th.
Okay,
I mean, technically, they were supposed to have it in when they submitted the article. And I understand that there's a lot of moving parts, and particularly when you're getting bids, and, you've got supply chains, and you've got vendors that aren't getting back to you. I get all that. I 100% get it. And I think you know, since the deadline was like January 9th, and we're talking like February 10th is like a month later. Obviously, like sprinkler heads, that's a safety issue. Okay, we do not want town hall to go up in flames. So if we need to extend a little bit on that, but some of these others that are not, you know, like I would say, you know, like the playground at McQuon School, great, you know, great project, but, you know, I mean, that one's coming from community preservation, so it's not really gonna impact like any of our other articles. It's not like it's coming from free cash or whatever, it's coming from a very dedicated, source of funding that can't be used for anything but very specific, things, but.
Would we be okay having a best guess estimate by the
We-
9th? And then it could
Yes.
change based on things that come in? I mean, as long as it's not expected to change dramatically?
I would say, I think it depends on what we're talking about, you know? But, yeah, I think so, Ed, and quite honestly, there were people that, you know, said, like, we're doing the best we can to give you that dollar amount, but, there's moving parts, and we don't control all of it, and we're trying to give people leeway and work with
Right.
them, obviously. We want the most accurate information to be given to people at town meeting. So, I mean, could we gently remind people that this is not at Never Never Land, we actually need dollar amounts? Because
I can
we're
certainly do
balancing a
that.
budget, so we need those dollar amounts. And that we would like them in by the 10th, no later than the 10th. And then we can revisit it if we don't, you know.
I will get that message out.
So where do you see this $400,000 thing, cause I haven't,
It was
found it
in
yet.
the, I think it was with fire, oh, I'm sorry, it was in the capital improvements, the one for the, yeah, it was
Capital improvement.
$397.
And there is some wording in some of the articles that will be tightened up as well, as we move forward for
It's,
language.
page 6. Article 7. Right there.
Oh, I didn't even
Yep.
see that up there. I saw the police things.
Yeah, that one just jumped out at me.
Well, out
All
of free
right.
cash, we just,
Yeah, well, that's why it jumped out at me. I was like, free cash, okay, what's that? Okay, anything else, Ms. Green, on that?
So the special, town meeting special will be available as well on the 10th.
How many articles are you expecting in that?
For the special, right now, let's see. I've only got 3 right now.
Anything that's gonna cause us to clutch our pearls?
No, well, snow and ice will be on the special, because there's a deficit.
We know that's coming.
There's a reimbursement to Conservation Fund by Community Preservation, and we're still putting together, prior year fiscal bills. With the Whitman Hanson Express shutting down, they've been sending us bills that they never received payment for, but some of them are prior fiscal years, so
What do
you're
you
gonna
mean,
have to
they
go
have,
over this.
Whitman Hanson Express has?
Yes. The-
Excuse me?
The owner has been sending us, you know, invoices that they said that have not been paid. Some of them have been paid, so we've been having to look through that, so, we're still,
How old are we talking about, these invoices? being?
only the prior fiscal year, that's it.
Okay.
It's prior fiscal, so we're still doing the investigation because they've sent some to planning, they've sent like us some, they've sent them to the library, so we're trying to collect them all, and so the special will be available at the next, and it pretty much tightened up unless again, an emergency comes up, but right now, there's like 3 articles on that one.
Okay, all right, that doesn't
All
sound bad. Did anybody have any other questions? Okay, then that brings us to, and this is very brief, we're just kind of touching upon this, but, discuss and set 2026 goals. I very much would like to have the full board here, to discuss that, since, we're all gonna be rowing, in the same direction, hopefully, on this. These were a collective group of goals that were put in. Implement staff-wide reviews at town hall to include department heads. Implement automated attendance tracking. Some of these are already in process, by the way, but I just want to set our intention. I think it's important to set a vision, to set the tone.
Was this copied from last year?
these were not copied from last year, these
Okay.
were the ones that I submitted.
These are from, okay,
These, I just brainstormed and
okay,
submitted these.
no, 'cause they
yeah.
look good, but I don't remember them.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
no, that's because I just made them up. Hold a strategic planning meeting with department heads and focus on one area for improvement. The last time we had the strategic planning, we were sort of all over the place, but I would really like to have another strategic planning session, and say something like, how do we improve communicating with our citizens? Or how do we improve, whatever it is, but fill in the blank. Then implement employee recognition program for all town employees with an option for residents to submit nominations. Unfortunately, we don't have a huge budget, so it might just be an add a girl, add a boy type of thing, but, you know.
Anything we
yeah.
can do, though, I mean,
And then
that's huge.
actively communicate about and recruit for committee board openings, initiate cross-departmental senior support programs similar to enforcement task force, but focused on the ways all departments can support and communicate with seniors. Explore ways to monetize all unoccupied town properties and ensure leases are in place for all occupied buildings. Hold town hall open house for citizens to come in and meet town hall employees. Launch PSA series about town meeting and rules of engagement. That probably would be with you and Sean, I was kind of thinking in my mind. And then launch PSA about town departments, boards, committees, and what they do. Explore creation of town engineer position and explore creation of facilities director position.
Improve IT infrastructure and select board meeting room.
All right, send it.
Okay.
Send it to Brenda and Amy.
Okay, I will.
Make it so.
I will.
Okay, and then if anybody has it, again, this was just like a baseline stuff, and then what we'll do is we'll go through and see if there are ones that you think are too big for us to take on, aren't a priority, what's the immediate priority, what's already in progress, and then we will come up with a little project plan.
Yeah, this is select board goals, but it does seem to include a
It's-
through Lisa too.
She is
Yeah.
the select board, she's with
Okay.
that. Like, we cannot, we're not in the office, so
Right.
through Ms.
Yeah.
Green, we
Yeah.
achieve our goals.
Like the automated attendance tracking was kind of
Yes.
Lisa's baby.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so
But I
just
like all of them.
take a gander and add some, if there's something that you're like, I always wish we did this better, or whatever, then just add that on there. Okay, now, old business, we don't have anything listed, did you have anything, Ms. Green, under old business?
Not tonight.
Okay, great. And then we have a May 31st, 2026 Camp Kawani, wedding. I will entertain a motion for the liquor license
So
for that.
moved.
Second.
Okay. And thank you, Mr. Kinshirf. Did he think we were gonna talk to him more? I'm sorry that we kept him. I feel bad.
No, he was just here for any questions.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll have more questions when we do the deep dive. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Amazing. Meeting minutes, of January 13th, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Amazing. Economic Development Committee, February 26th, 5:30, be there or be square. We will be having the, Hanson Business Summit. And we've got some really great speakers, like, this woman, I don't even know how we landed her, she's so amazing, like, I'm afraid she's gonna look us up and realize that she's better than we are, but, you know, I hope that we get good attendance, it's always tricky, people, I don't know, modern day people don't RSVP, it's apparently very bourgeois, and they just don't think it's the thing to do, so it's just a crapshoot, you don't know who's gonna show up and who's going to. High Street Park Committee, we don't have, Mr. Weeks, Highway Committee, Mrs. Rain.
We had an update.
Yeah, well, yes, but we met after our last meeting, so everybody doesn't know what the update is, because,
Well, the update is, we did have a meeting and we're working on a plan for, can I say it?
oh, go for it.
All
Yeah.
right, so we're looking at, a plan for, removing that brick building. That's gonna be a town meeting vote. And making the whole building be one piece, larger than, what they had originally asked, only because one of the things that happened is that they were gonna try to connect two buildings with a little overhang. That brought into all sorts of fire
Yeah.
code stuff that was gonna have to be
Yeah.
covered. So that was, and why are we beating ourselves to death trying to rebuild a building that really needs a lot of help. Better just raise it and just have one big new building, work on the, old police station, get that up to speed. And of course, the stuff for the youth.
Yep.
The building for the youth would talk about where that's gonna be placed and stuff like that, so it was a pretty good meeting, I
It
thought it
was very, I
productive.
thought it was a very productive meeting, and, you know, our highway, director had gone to Marion because they
Oh,
had done a
yeah.
very similar project, and so he was showing us pictures, and it was great. I think it was great for him to have a peer that he could talk to about, hey, what went well, what, you know, pitfalls for the unwary and all
So,
that.
was it, is it Morgan, what's the name of the building, Morgan?
Morton.
Morton, the
Yeah.
Morton building, yeah, Morton building,
Yeah, so, you know, so that actually was kind of like, originally, it was gonna be a rehab of, I guess, the quarters, you'd call it, that they have right now, and then they were gonna build a new building, but like Ann said, our fire chief was like, you know, you're gonna have to bring that all up to code, that's gonna be expensive, you can't really even
It
connect
was
without.
actually Matt that,
Yeah.
said, why don't you just take that building down?
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right.
And in that, so they figured with the little cantilevering here and a little cantilever, that even though it's a very small footprint, one of the other things they had to think about was
Is
the
the
fuel.
swing, the
Yeah.
swing of the fire trucks when
Yeah.
they're getting fuel.
Yeah.
It has to go a certain way because the fuel is on one side, and the trucks have to be able to pull in that way, so.
So it was, I think we had everybody, you know, that really needed to be there, and as usual, because they're so awesome, they all worked out the perfect plan. And
Well, Mr. DeFrayis is Mr. the Planner Extraordinaire.
he was, but without like Mr.
Right,
Christopherly
yeah,
and
yeah.
without Rich
The input from
chiming in,
everybody,
and,
yeah.
and I do have to say that, you know, there was a member of the highway, team here who said, like, just morale alone, thinking about the fact that they might not have to work in that building, that's
Yeah.
just so bad, you know, one of the things, well, we talked about a couple of things, maybe doing some filming of that building so people could truly appreciate the horrific conditions that people
Inside.
are working in right now.
Absolutely.
And it's really, it's embarrassing, it's more than embarrassing, but, and then we talked about maybe having an open house, but passing out hat hearts, just in case
Yeah, hard
anything,
hats.
you know, what did I say? Hard hats.
I don't know what you
Yeah,
said.
hat
But
hearts.
it wasn't.
Yeah, but passing out, hard hats, in case, you know, just to protect the town from liability of falling whatever's, from the roof.
Well, they've done yeoman's work there, keeping that place going the way they, you know, what they have to work under. And I know they don't like it when we say that, they do such a great job plowing the roads, which they do. They do, but they do a great job year round.
They do a
really
lot of amazing stuff.
But we all
Yeah.
see, right now, we
Yeah.
see how good they, you know, how well they took care of
I mean,
things.
tell me about it. Today I
Yeah.
went to go out and I'm like, damn, the road is down to nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing there.
And they made them wider, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they
yeah.
really, and they've still got some, they're gonna be knocking back some of the corners and what have you at different,
And they were doing the
places,
fire
but-
hydrants
yeah.
today.
I had to get out of my road, Pine Grove Ave, which is small anyway,
Pardon me.
midnight on Sunday. I had not one problem. The roads were plowed. It was, I was amazed.
Yep.
I was expecting to be all over the place. I was expecting it to take an hour to get to my destination that normally takes 20 minutes. It took me 25 minutes. And I'm like, I couldn't be more impressed
yeah,
with
I agree.
everybody that had anything to do with keeping the town
Running.
And
going
as
this
much as,
weekend.
if anybody has a problem, of course, and I think I did mention this, Facebook isn't the right place to put it. Highway just isn't going to be trolling Facebook to see
No,
whether
they
your
don't.
street got plowed, or
They
if
don't
you
have time for
had a
that.
problem, or if somebody knocked your mailbox down. The highway is gonna be out doing their job, they're not looking at Facebook. So if you have a problem, call highway. But conversely, it's quite lovely when things go right, if you let people know that it's gone right. So I'm sure, the guys and gals would love to hear positive things, if you are feeling any type of gratitude about the job that they did. And, you know, and even though, I've said this before, you know, yes, do people get paid to do this job? They do. but you cannot pay somebody to have the commitment and care about people in town, and that's what we have. And that's special, and it should be celebrated, and it should be, thanked, if you feel, full of the spirit, so I would encourage you to do that. Okay, I will get off of my soapbox, and then, I don't have anything on Whitman Hanson Regional School Agreement Committee, and I'm not expecting anything. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Ms. Green, for the town administrator report.
All right, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board. So, just to piggyback on that, first and foremost, I would like to thank, the Highway Department and shout out, to their tremendous work over the weekend with the snow, and plowing the roads. I have had nothing but a lot of good things, come my way about the job that they've done. And again, we haven't had 20 inches of snow in how long?
Right.
Every municipality in the state, every resident pretty much, is dealing with where to put it. There are people who are not gonna be happy because it's on a street corner or whatever, but again, this amount of snow requires a lot of, planning on where to put it, so please be patient as we figure out where to put it. But again, a shout out to them and our highway director, they did a great job. And as soon as people come into Hanson, they're like, wow, you can see the
You
roads.
can see the difference.
Yeah.
Our new audit firm, has grabbed the bull by the horns. They're already working on collecting the materials for our FY '26 audit. So kudos on that as well. If we're gonna be looking at borrowing, anything like that, we will be required to have our audit prior to that, so, our new auditing firm is already hard at work to make sure we have our audits, by the time we need them for any borrowing. Still working with Verdantis on the procurement for the Pratt Place culvert. Our town council did look at the documents, provided their guidance and suggestions, and markup, which we fixed. And then we were waiting on, the Mass DOT to kind of put their comments into it, because they also have to have, they have skin in the game on this, so, they did return it to Verdantis with their comments, they're working on it, and then hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we'll have it out there with dates. So our highway department had an advertisement for the highway heavy equipment operator position. The deadline was January 22nd. They did receive, 2 applications from, applicants or candidates, with, some experience. So we are working on setting up those interviews for the first week of February, and hopefully be able to get someone on board. Council on Aging, the outreach coordinator position is still out there. We are getting applications for that, so I will forward them to our, Council on Aging director, so that she can vet the applicants and hopefully get, interviews set up for that position. And our planning administrative assistant, she's assisting the zoning board of appeals office. She will be in the office, in the zoning board of appeals office, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 2 to 5, to assist anyone that comes into the office. She'll provide assistance with making sure that, meetings and hearings are posted and advertised, and she will also be assisting with meetings, as well as our building department administrative assistant will be assisting with providing support with meetings and hearings, drafting meeting minutes. So we do have some coverage there.
And is Tony gonna be actively involved, because that's a
He-
lot of
he-
technical
yes.
deadlines and what have you?
Yeah, he is gonna be involved with assistance and, is gonna also work on drafting some of the decisions. So we do have coverage in the office, and hopefully with the administrative assistant, scheduled to return February 10th, we hope that happens, but if not, we have coverage in the office, so, kudos to all the
Well,
employees
yeah,
for that.
thank them for stepping up, we appreciate that.
So our office, again, we are in full town meeting preparation stage, working on the warrants, the materials. So we're in very good shape to have everything in order well before we have to send this to the printers and things like that. So very proud of my office for everything they've done, and where we are today. I don't think we've ever had the warrant completed like this before February.
No.
So we're in tremendously good shape. I will be out of the office tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. I will have my computer at home, but probably will not be available tomorrow for phone calls. Thursday, maybe, but then I'll have my computer available for if anyone needs me, and then I'll be back in the office hopefully on Monday. And that concludes my town administrator
All right,
report
well,
for
thank you
today.
very much. Okay, then with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We will be adjourning to executive session. We will not be returning to open session. We are adjourning to executive session to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. Executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, litigation discussions, union negotiations, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. I will entertain a motion to adjourn, and again, we will not be returning to open session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you very much.